Jack.
Levi.
The Book Club from Hell.
All right, we are talking about Cyclomancy by Frank Rudolph Young, and I've got with me in this journey through the psychic realm Capitalisimo of Library of Mass Destruction and the Tooky's Mag Sidebar podcast, among other things, I think.
There are other things.
What else do you want to shill?
Well, also I want to... So in addition to Library of Mass Destruction, which you can listen to every Monday night on X.com and the Tooky's Mag YouTube channel, where I and my co-host Christopher Sandbatch read through weird histories, currently reading None Dare Call It Conspiracy. You can listen to me and Mike of Pole every Wednesday on X.com. But only on X.com, because we would get taken down for copyright violations if we did the show anywhere else. Drive Time Movie Night, where we have a guest on and watch a film and provide color commentary. It's a lot of fun and completely unserious. So check that out.
Beautiful. And in contrast to that, a lot of fun and completely unserious, we've got Cyclomancy, the most serious thing, the most serious book of magic ever written. It's a 1966 tome of magic by Frank Rudolph Young. We were talking a bit about his biography before recording, and there's a lot of conjecture. I mean, when I say a lot, I think I found 3 results or something when I was searching for it.
This guy was a real ghost. Yeah. It's not like, back in the 1960s, you could you could publish something and not really leave much of a record in history otherwise. And that's Frank Rudolph Young. Yeah.
Yeah, he
published a few different he published a few different he did publish a few different ESP psychic sort of new agey style things. I'm not sure actually, like not to counter signal you right off the bat, but I'm not sure this really counts as magic because of its its overall approach. But obviously there is some overlap. There's some, especially like internal and external alchemical kind of concepts in it. But,
once we've given people a bit of a taste of what this book is, could you go into what does or doesn't make this magic? Because my exposure to magic is pretty small. I've read basically Evelyn talking about various types of magic, and that's about it. And this felt pretty different to that. This felt qualitatively different. But I was wondering if magic's just a big tent kind of church.
I think magic is a specific style of thing. That I wouldn't necessarily include it. I wouldn't give it a seat on the council.
So are you saying that Frank Rudolph Young's The Laws of Mental Domination, How to Master and Use Them for Dynamic Life Force, or The Yogatronic Diet, Amazing New Way to a Youthful Trim Body, isn't true magic?
I would say it's no true magic. Yes, I would say it doesn't count as magic. It's sort of it's new age, and therefore it's borrowing from those. But it's ultimately like a very distinctly American syncretism. So, yeah. And I mean, so I mean, I don't know what the complete order of operations are that you would like to do here, but he gets into body mechanics, and he gets into sort of very he gets into some neuroscience. I'm using the largest scare quotes I can possibly put around neuroscience here, but yeah. So he gets into these things which are justifications for saying this is in fact a physical process that is understood via science, and it is not something that requires a belief in the supernatural in the way that he is couching it.
Yeah, that's well, I'll get onto his biography in a moment, but you brought up something really interesting there where is that a point of distinction between this and true magic, where I'm not sure he's asking you to believe in. I mean, he talks about the astral realm, but he grounds it in physics And my scare quotes around physics, I think, are matching your scare quotes around anatomy and physiology or neuroscience.
Well, the anatomy stuff, he's actually, other than the brain stuff, he's actually the most correct about. Like in terms of the biomechanical part is usually as examples. So he describes sort of the process of training yourself to use mental powers in terms of basically, doing bro lifting.
Yeah. Just working your arms.
Yeah, he like the biomechanics of lifting a heavy weight, as he liked to say over and over again.
Yeah.
Where the engagement of the biceps actually drives the movement, but the triceps are engaged to stabilize. But if the triceps engage too much, you will be unable to complete the movement, obviously, because they're the antagonistic muscle. He sort of, is saying that if you don't learn to control the antagonistic muscles that are sort of locking down your understanding of the psychic realm, you'll be unable to accomplish cyclomancy, the secret of what the secret of psychic control, or what is the what's the full subtitle here? Psychic power control, or psychic power command. Yeah.
So he does take part in, I'm not sure to what extent it's the case in other cultures, but at least that very Western or contemporary Western thing of something is valid if it's scientific, and therefore you just take anything and slap a bunch of sort of scientific concepts on it to make it material, scientific, and acceptable.
Yeah,
to any thinking man. And so is that one of the major points of departure between this and magic?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it is. I think it's definitely a point of departure is that this is fundamentally scientism, right? Like this is materialistic.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
His explanation is fundamentally materialist. So,
yeah. So,
and it's also not actually, he borrows from some things in a way that like doesn't. I don't want to get too crunchy here, but doesn't pay a whole lot of respect to the like traditional things that he's drawing from. So yeah, and he mentions yogis, and he mentions other types of sort of physical. And yoga is fundamentally a magic system and an alchemical system, but he doesn't really he treats them in a very surface level way. So
that doesn't surprise me at all, given how he treats almost everything in the book. A bit about him, we can compare notes about what we know of his life. I found that he was born in 1911 in Panama City. He probably died in Chicago in 2002 or early 2000s.
Perhaps he's never died.
Maybe never. Yeah, that would be, I mean, that was my first assumption. Because he does tell you how to live, if not forever, then for a very, very long time in this book.
He's just chilling in the astral plane. He just sent his consciousness, and it's chilling. It's chilling. I believe it.
Yeah. I also found scattered claims that he was a bodybuilder, a chiropractor, some sort of athlete. That his godfather was the president of some country. There are a number of claims made about him. The claim that he was a bodybuilder feels true. Absolutely true.
It is spiritually true that he was a bodybuilder, because the book is psychic bro science.
Yeah, it's bro magic. In the same way,
it's bro magic. It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. His explanations are like, when I first read it, I was like, we're getting a little Mark Ripito in here. Like, this is the grimoire of Ripito, but it's definitely bro magic. And you can imagine in this time period, I just imagine this guy like brewing potions and it's just Tren, you know. It's like come to my laboratory. It's like a wizard. It's a wizard's tower that's nothing but anabolics
and LSD tabs
for sure.
Yeah, I feel actually considering this to be more the bro science pillar of magic makes a lot of sense. I mean, I have a lot of time for bro science.
I do too.
A proud oral tradition of the gym. So maybe I should take cyclomancy more seriously than I do. Maybe this is just it's purely
it's extremely
empirical.
Comfy. It's extremely comfy to me. Like I don't take cyclomancy. It's a strange artifact of a time, right? When like modern bodybuilding was sort of in its nascency. You know, we were about to get the real big men, like the breakouts of, you know, Schwarzenegger, who really catapulted bodybuilding into prominence. But, you know, in this book, he talks about isometric exercises, which, you know, prior to Schwarzenegger, isometric exercises, that was Charles Atlas's method. And Charles Atlas was like the strong guy in the mid 20th century. You know, who sort of eclipsed the very early 20th century strongmen of like Eugen Sandow. And Jung in Cyclomancy talks several times about how isometric exercises is when you just flex your muscles statically. So, you know, if you ever read, and Charles Atlas also is the guy who's like, he ran these like incredibly successful ads that they were so successful that they've just sort of entered the zeitgeist as a meme, where it's like the 98-pound weakling at the beach, and then like the Chad kicks sand in his face, and he's like, and takes his girl, and he's like, I'm gonna fuck that guy up. So he becomes a complete gym cell, gets buff, and then kicks the guy's ass. That's the Charles Atlas advertisement for his strength training method. And his entire thing, that dude never touched a weight. He would just like, you know, lock his hands together, you know, sort of, you know, left hand on top, right hand on the bottom, and pull against his own, like, you know, sort of lock the fingers in two pairs and just pull, and then do the opposite by pushing. And he would just essentially flex against his own muscles and strength train in that manner. And so that is isometric exercise. And Frank Rudolph Jung is against that. He's explicitly against that. He takes a stand several times and says, if you do isometric exercises to work out, you will not become stronger, and you will be limiting yourself. And he says, and if you use the same types of methods to psychically train, you will cripple yourself.
Yeah, that's right. He's got that whole thing about how you can't do any of these things for more than 2 seconds. Otherwise, the synapses in your nervous system will adapt to all of the psychic commands you're sending through them, and you'll just become psychically insensitive.
Yep. Yeah.
Be overtraining.
Yeah, you'll overtrain, bro. You have to send your psychic power rockets on a high frequency, low duration. You know, he's essentially saying you need to do interval training, although interval training wasn't invented at the time. But yeah,
well, he invented it.
He did, apparently. Yeah, Tabata needs to give credit to Jung.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and do some Jung intervals. So
that's right. Although phrasing, but
how did you come across this book? Because I heard about it because you mentioned it on a podcast as just one of the stranger books. Yeah,
I have the stupidest reason. So this very haggard gentleman, I was at in the United States, there is a chain called Half Price Books, and I frequent all bookstores. I have much love for many types of booksellers, And so this one of the things that Half Price Books does is they'll buy books from you. And so, but they only buy their method of buying books is based entirely on how rapidly they think they can sell it. And, so they'll give you 1 cent for a book they'll sell for $5 in less than 30 days or something, for example. It's very utility maxed. This haggard gentleman rolled in a cart full of books. They told him he couldn't. They told him they would not buy any of them because they didn't believe that they could sell them. And this guy started asking people at the store if they wanted to buy them, and I was like, sure, I'll take a look. And this thing was on the top of the pile. This is not a cheap book, by the way. It's just this is like the first printing of Cyclomancy, which this was, is like a few $100s on eBay. It has been illegally reprinted, so you can buy a print on demand version for like $50.
Oh yeah, now. This is really expensive.
Yeah. And so I always have an eye for esoterica, and I check the publishing date, flipped it open, read Psychic Command Rocket, and I was like, absolutely. And so I bought it for $5.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't know how much it was worth. I was just like, this is worth $5 to me. So I got a great deal. I got a great deal. Yeah. And also, the other thing I learned is that if he had just left them, Half Price Books would have thrown all of the shit that he left there in the recycling. So that company, by the way, is pulping rare books because it doesn't fit their business model. So yeah, not a big fan of that.
But serendipitously, you did get a copy of Cyclomancy.
Yes, and now you and all of the listeners will have to pay the price for that. Yes, everyone else.
Frank Rudolph Young Renaissance.
Yep, that's right. This is how it happens. I found the Rosetta Stone in a meth addict's shopping cart.
Yeah, this book has. Okay, so it's all centered around this idea of the primitive autoconscious, and he sort of defines it at the start. It's your instinctive prehistoric mind.
It's your lizard brain.
Yeah, it's this bit of your mind that's really psychically active, and then the order of operations is a bit weird. I think he said humans compared to plants and other animals didn't need the autoconsciousness's remarkable control because we had good reasoning powers, I guess. And as a consequence, we lost our psychic and muscular control.
Our system is purely vestigial.
Yeah,
that's right. So our system is vestigial, but we haven't completely lost it. It's just that we have other things that are easier but less powerful. So he's saying you've all gone for the low
wisdom, high intelligence build.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like but you haven't classed into the thing with the high skill ceiling. So you're ultimately limiting your progression.
And low constitution, actually, because when you train your primitive autoconscious, you also get way stronger. You're way healthier. It helps basically everything. I do note that we lost the autoconsciousness, and then in response to that, we developed a thicker cerebral cortex. Which is where the order of operations kind of turns me around, because that to me feels like we got smarter having lost the primitive autoconscious. But I think the thing that makes this book really special for me is the degree to which he'll put numbers and specific words to terms or to things that in other books would be left quite vague. So you get a really, really quite a clear idea.
Well, let's just use an example.
Which are wonderful.
So let's say a regular person, a Joe Schmo, an untrained person decides to pick up their psychic barbells for the first time,
Is this the 109 times the claim?
Yes. How much stronger is Giga Chad Yogi at using his mental powers? And the answer is 109 times.
Yeah,
it's 109 times stronger. You might think it's some sort of qualitative measure. No, it's quantitative.
It's quantitative.
It's 109 times.
And then later on in the book, though, because he uses the 109 figure a lot, and then towards the end of the book, he starts throwing around thousands.
Well, and he also says, and it sounds in context a bit like cope, to be honest, but he mentions, of course, these yogis begin training when they're in their infancy, basically, to be masters like this. And you will never achieve at this level. But if you
get to 1%,
if you even train an additional percent, you'll be 10%. If you're even 10% stronger than the next guy, you're going to be a standout. Like you'll be a Giga Chad if you're 10% stronger than everyone else at everything. And so that's his like, so yes, with this power, you can learn to fly. Now you won't fly, but by the way, you will not be flying. But you'll be lighter on your feet and more agile and quicker and et cetera. So.
Yeah. And then, basically every power you get can also be used to enchant strangers. As in, fascinate them. Sorry, they'll just find you fascinating.
They'll want to be around you. They'll want to. There's a deep sense of many of his use examples, right, are a little bit curious, sort of like what an odd thing to say, where it's like, just imagine that you have a cheating spouse, and that
everything is to stop your
spouse from cheating on you. It's sort of like you went through a really bad breakup right before writing Cyclomancy.
Or I put to you that he's a bodybuilder, wrote this on a trend cycle when he was convinced his wife was cheating on him because he was trend brand. He was really socially withdrawn because he was on trend. And Cyclomancy exists to try to offset the trend side effects.
Oh my God. That sounds like bullshit, but I believe it.
I'm not sure when trend was synthesized, but I feel like
it was definitely after this book was written.
I feel like it's true in a much deeper sense than just chronology.
Yeah, I mean, well, he could have been doing like astral trend. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, if you're not limited by, I guess testosterone was first isolated in the 30s. I guess I didn't realize that, but I don't know if it was necessarily used as as a exogenous in an exogenous way then, but
to ruin your life and wallet so that you can have bigger muscles.
Dude, yeah, no, all my homies have left ventricular hypertrophy.
It's still a muscle. Cardiac hypertrophy is still hypertrophy.
That's right. I want
to come back to that 109 figure.
Oh yeah,
because he actually does walk through how he arrives at 109, which is, I think, for me, the best bit of the book is how he will really quantify certain claims, and in doing so, make them just even more bizarre. So he gets at 109. And he says it can be simply explained. Actually, I'll just read the quote. So, how could they achieve this? That can be simply explained. It is an accepted fact, first of all, that you use but 1/10 of your mental known self. In other words, 9 times of what you use of your known self remains unused. But you use practically no part of your primitive unconscious, so 100 times of what you use of your unknown self or of your primitive autoconscious remains unused. Hence, a total of 9 times plus 100 times of both your known and unknown selves, or 109 times, remains unused. And as is often the case in these sort of books, the maths is like if you squint, you can make it work. I feel like so you use practically no part of your primitive unconscious. I think if you use, like if you just assume someone's using 1%, then using 100% would be 100 times that. So I just kind of backfilled that he just forgot to mention that, or just assuming in that example that a normal person's using 1%. But then later in the book, he'll talk about how if you can use 1%, and that's what the book will teach you, you'll be so much better. And I think that's the downside of quantifying things to the extent that he has.
His scaling was not dialed in there.
Yeah. I still appreciate the effort he put in. He's not doing the classic where a lot of the time these people will just divide something by 0 and say it equals infinity, which is just a pet peeve whenever I'm reading any book like this that uses maths.
Truly, your magical autism is a thing of great power.
That's why I can fly and astrally project.
Yeah, because you get pissed off when they do bad math.
Yeah, I'm the in the Arcanum universe, I'm one of those people who hates mages because they fuck up all of my machines, make them stop working. Shout out to the Tooky's mag.
Shout out to Dave and Gabe, my co-hosts who are doing their side hustle.
Yeah, there are a few techniques in this book that that just keep popping up, and how about we go through the techniques, the toolbox he gives you, and then we can go through the specific use cases. And the use cases are great because they start off kind of mundane, like you can see a bit better. And then by the end,
he definitely
slow
rolls you. Yeah, he slow rolls the shit out of you.
Yeah, you can. Flying, I think, is the ultimate one. Although being able to remote view seems pretty...
remote viewing the history of an object, like the previous places an object has been, and replay events from the past. Let's see, astral projection, obviously. Telepathy. Let's see, making someone fall in love with you, making someone follow your commands. The toolbox has a lot of very powerful, very powerful hammers.
The most powerful is one of the first uses of the psychic harpoon he proposes, where you can tap your wife or girlfriend on the shoulder psychically while she's walking in front of you, and she'll turn around and be shocked because you're actually walking too far behind her to have touched her physically.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like that's
just like, this is just how you just fuck with them a little. You got to keep them on their toes. That's what keeps them fascinated.
Because I haven't read a great deal of magic for the podcast, but we've read a bit of woo woo, which is a technical term.
This is tremendous. This is definitely woo woo.
Yeah,
I might fight the use the use of the term magic for this, but I will definitely sign off on woo woo.
Woo, yeah. And a common feature of so many woo-woo books is they give you incredible powers, and then the people writing the books who presumably have these incredible powers just use them for completely pedestrian things, like getting a better seat on a flight, which sure, it would save you some money. I wouldn't complain if I could do that, but given what you could be doing, that it just feels like a bit of a waste.
Yeah, I mean, but also he's trying to like make it very clear that in terms of your daily life, these powers are applicable, right?
Yeah,
so you're gonna get over on people in every single way. Your life is going to improve. You're gonna get the girl. No one will ever be able to kick sand in your eyes because you'll have a psychic shield over your eyeballs.
Yeah, and you can shoot infrared eye beams at them.
You can shoot infrared eye beams to superheat the sand particles and melt their face off. That's not in here, but it could have been.
But you can use it to send messages to them through their skin.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. there is an interesting there's an interesting like theory of optics here where the eyes are firing where the eyes fire photons at things in order to influence them.
The I-beams hypothesis.
Which was like that did used to be a working theory of how people saw things, right? Like
before
he has signed off on that one.
Yeah. And I guess it just depends when you're writing. And at a time when it was just much harder to detect individual photons, that like it was a possible theory. Now a lot of the claims are kind of trivially easy to test. Like, are your eyes firing photons out of them or not?
Right. Well, and there's also so he does say that you can make yourself glow in this.
Oh, the human lamp.
The human lamp. That's a great one.
That's mostly for the purposes of fascination, though.
That is that's just to just show off. That's just
to work function to start glowing.
So many glowies. That's the one they teach you in Quantico.
In CIA, that's the one in Langley.
They teach you in Quantico. Yeah, that's right. They teach you how to glow.
Yeah, it's actually it's completely apocryphal that Lord Temple OS coined the term glowy, or led to the term glowy being widely adopted. It's actually because the CIA trains people in cyclomancy, and their agents do sometimes glow. As a result of deploying the human lamp.
That's right. It's really hard to intercept their communications unless of course it's Mossad cyclomancers.
Yeah.
The only people with better cyclomancers are Mossad. So
exactly. The Iranians should have trained more cyclomancers.
The whole nuke thing was sort of a red herring. We kept
it was
like,
actually cover for their
nukes.
cyclomancy program.
It was like, don't get nukes. And they're like, oh well, because you're saying that we're gonna get nukes, and our intelligence community is like, you should have been training cyclomancy, idiots.
So I feel like there are like a handful of techniques that he uses to deploy these powers. I think the most important, or the one he just keeps using, is the psychic power command rocket. And so you've got the silent area of your brain. I feel like I can't be bothered going into specifics on neurophysiology here.
Well, he has lots of very funny terms for things in general.
Yeah.
Like he says your psychic horns at one point, and then explains what those are, and it's literally just your optic nerve.
Your optic nerves.
Like but he just refers to them as your psychic horn.
Yeah.
That's just the term that he's going to use for them.
Yeah.
And so a psychic command rocket is sort of like you have to conceptualize a fast moving package of information.
Yeah.
Essentially. So that one's conceptual. It's not exactly like a part of your physiology.
No. But it's it's you deliver these to the psychic power command center, which
is it's the
hypothalamus,
right?
No, I thought it was the prefrontal cortex because he's talking about.
You're probably correct
because he's talking about the silent area, and I think that was what the prefrontal cortex was called, but it actually just doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it sure doesn't.
He loves, because I actually don't know what the state of neurophysiology was in 1966. Presumably people knew a lot less. So
sure, I'd say
I'm assuming all of his really, really bizarre claims about what particular parts of the brain do is just a reflection of the state-of-the-art knowledge at the time, and not because he was just making things up.
I would say I can't be bothered really maximally charitable.
Yeah. I can't be bothered quibbling with him on it, but just as a blanket statement, neurophysiology is really complicated, and I feel like he's slightly simplifying things here, especially when it comes to imagining juicy steaks to potentiate your psychic arc.
Also, it is what, yeah, okay, so his go-to method, so there part of his method is visualization. Right?
Yeah.
He does go into how visualizing things occurring is not actually the way to do shit. However, you can induce yourself to like raise your body temperature. He's big into body temperature. Raising your body temperature is a huge thing. It's the thing you need to do in order to accomplish certain other psychic tasks. So you need to, but the way to do that is to visualize a juicy steak. Yeah. And sometimes, and it's always a juicy steak. It's not like you
except, this is, listen here. That's for the psychic arc. But there is something called the violent arc, which is it's like the psychic arc, but the Shadow the Hedgehog, where instead of imagining a juicy steak which stimulates your loving nerves, which he just loves the parasympathetic nervous system.
Well, don't you?
I do love it because those are my loving nerves. My loving nerves, which communicate with loving acetylcholine and not hateful noradrenaline, which he calls it sympathin. It might have just been what noradrenaline was called in the 60s. I don't actually know, but he doesn't like the sympathetic nervous system. Those are your fighting nerves, which are just there to cause problems or something. But you can potentiate your violent arc instead of your psychic arc as well. And I think that the imagining juicy steaks thing, doesn't he says it's specifically for making transmission of I think he calls it nerve electricity across synapses.
It is, but like
more you
faster. Speed it. You speed it up.
You make it faster.
Yeah, you make it faster.
By imagining a juicy steak. But that
also raises your body, and it raises your body temperature in so doing. And so there are certain things where you have to like raise your overall energy and transmission speed and temperature in order to accomplish things. But it is always a juicy steak. And in fact, it later on in one of the last examples, he's like, this is how to increase your powers. It's like, imagine a steak and imagine it increasing ever more in juiciness, like an ever juicier steak.
I think you're talking about in this being just a quantitative rather than qualitative work is spot on.
That is the only,
The way to make your psychic arc stronger is to increase the quantity of juiciness of your imagined steak.
Yep. It's an ever juicier, ever more tender steak. We're reaching levels of juiciness heretofore unimagined.
Okay, and this is some extrapolation from Frank's first principles, because he loves basically just linear scaling according to 109. So say when we'll get to the I-beams in more detail, but when you're shooting out your I-beams, he says that a psychic master can shoot the I-beams 109 times faster because you're a little baby in the psychic realm and you're on 1 times speed and a yogi is on 109 times speed. And basically anything that you do, a yogi does 109 times more. Yep. So does that mean a yogi can raise their body temperature 109 times more than you can?
A yogi who raises their body temperature as high as they possibly can would literally melt through the crust of the planet and wind up in the core.
Yeah.
Like the entire core really of the planet is just a bunch of really concentrating yogis who are just a bunch of people who read
Cyclomancy and really got it.
Yeah, really understood. That's where Frank Rudolph Young is. He's chilling below Agartha in the core of the planet.
Yeah, and just using its warmth to cook his juicy mental steak, and in doing so, gaining even more power.
His mental steak is so juicy that if you ever cut into it to release the juice, the released pressure of the juice would vaporize the planet.
Yeah, it's the flood 2.0.
It's far too juicy. We're violating laws of conservation of matter with how much fluid is inside of the steak.
How much juice? Okay, so when you're doing anything psychic, you make your psychic power command rocket, shoot it into your psychic power command center in your forehead, and then he wants you to shoot it down a nerve to just whatever body part you want to be made more psychic. And while you're doing this, you're imagining a juicy steak to make a psychic arc which speeds up transmission across synapses, because he just does not like synapses. He just doesn't trust them.
Insufficiently speedy.
Yeah, they just slow everything down. And that's kind of the basis of all of the techniques in this book. So there'll be some details that change, but I feel like the psychic power command rocket and your psychic arc form they're the workhorses of basically all these techniques.
Yeah, that's your.
He's got the thing about electrons though.
He loves electricity. So there are he goes into like how electric eels create potentiation, and he's like, and so you do basically that thing, except he never suggests that you can electrocute people, which is a little weird.
Yeah, actually, that's true. That is a bit surprising, because that would be... Well, you could do so many things if you could generate electricity. Because he does say you can shoot electrons at stuff. Basically, things that are good have an electron surplus, so they're relatively negatively charged, versus things which just are less electric.
Well, part of the...
And you're getting it, and the Earth sucks up your electrons. So you're having to replenish your electrons by imagining juicy steaks.
And your average person is negatively charged at all times, right? And if you, through cyclomancy, the secret of psychic power control, are able to increase your charge so that you have a surplus of electrons, they will, through the power of literal animal magnetism, which is another, be attracted to you. They'll be attracted to you physically, like they will come to your presence as if by happenstance, and they will find you compelling and fascinating. And
yeah. And you can do all sorts of things with these electrons. So you can send messages with them through touch. You can touch someone, and your electrons will carry your messages through their skin to their nerves. And then he says, basically, because your electrons are just nerve electricity, that nerve electricity is going to go through your skin as infrared radiation, which he also really likes. And it's going to go into their skin, then hit a nerve, and that signal is going to be transduced back into nerve electricity. And then you can send whatever you want to them through electrons.
Yeah, you can heal them, but you can create a surplus of electrons and then share your electrons with someone else by laying on hands, and assist in their healing. Any kind of healing, and medical, spiritual, mental. You can. All you need to do is just imagine a steak and touch them. Yeah.
Another preoccupation of his is muscle tone, which, given that he was, if not actually, then at least spiritually a bodybuilder, makes sense. He'd want a lot of muscle tone if he were a bodybuilder, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you'd want to have, so as he defined tone, wasn't tone like the ability to activate your muscle?
Wasn't it being not activated? Just not contracting, just being flaccid.
Oh yeah, to completely relax.
Yeah,
that's what
he likes that, because you're not burning off energy. And then he makes, when you're not doing that, he says,
and he hates standing. That's right. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't like standing up, because you're wasting energy unnecessarily. You're just all these muscles are being activated, and they're not going completely flaccid, which is what you want. And he says, basically, this is how yogis, there are a number of techniques they use, but one technique they use to be able to perform miraculous feats of strength is that between muscle contractions, they'll completely relax and their muscles are just revitalized. And they can relax much better than you can because they have so much control over their muscle tone.
I'm so shit at relaxing. God, I'd be so much more powerful if I could relax.
Yeah.
I got to get rid of my standing desk. I'm making myself weak. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to either sit or lie down.
This I respect the relaxation pilled sit maxer kind of psychic power training. Sounds way easier.
Actually, a lot of the training exercises in this book involve you lying down first.
They do, yeah. Well, there's the stooping Zembla and the horizontal Ozona.
The stooping Zembla. Zembla, my favorite fictitious nation in Pale Fire by Nabokov.
In Pale Fire by Nabokov, right. I don't know where Ozona comes from actually, but we'll say it's something about the idea of ozone and surplus energy. If you have something that's sort of spending excess electrons in an atmosphere, you'll tend to produce ozone. So maybe that's what he was thinking of there. But yeah, but those are basically just
I completely forgot about that.
Those are energizing exercises, and the stooping Zembla is you're sitting down or you're bent over in order to
with your hands on your knees.
Yeah, in order to sort of circulate your electrons internally, and then the horizontal Ozona is you're laying down, so it's horizontal, maximizing your contact with the earth, I believe, to do basically the same thing but more powerfully. If I recall correctly, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, he does spend a lot of time describing how to properly do the stooping Zembla as well, even though it is actually just, I don't know, if you're out of breath because you've been running or something and you crouch down with your hands on your knees, it's just it.
So here's just a like an example for exercises for developing psychic power controlled muscle tone. Okay. So the funny thing is, a lot of his exercises, like if you follow them correctly, you will actually, like, I'm sure that you would feel better about whatever you're trying to do. So this is to do psychic power controlled muscle tone. Exercise 1, pick up a weight or chin yourself on a bar. Lifting a light weight is preferable to chinning yourself because unless you are trim, you will need considerable strength to chin yourself all the way up. If you are past middle age and not in the best condition, sit down and raise your arms straight up from your side, slightly above shoulder level. Repeat the movement until you are tired. Don't do it standing up. Cyclomancy stubbornly opposes unnecessary standing. Standing is the great energy waster. As you lower your arms, or lower your own body if you chin, in either exercise, relax completely. Do not let your arms, or your body if you chin, down slowly and tensely. As you grow tired, it will be more and more difficult for you to relax completely each time you lower your arms or your body, and a feeling of mounting fatigue will oppress you with each new repetition. So send intensified psychic power command rockets to your conscious and subconscious minds to relax the tightening muscles of your arms and both visualize and feel them relaxing. When raising your arms, do it with the least amount of energy. Before long, you won't be able to lift them or your body very high. Finally, you won't be able to lift them at all, or so you feel. Do this exercise for at least a week every other day, and then do exercise 2. And exercise 2 is basically from the beginning, send psychic power command rockets while you're doing this light exercise. And lo and behold, after a week of doing light exercise from being untrained, you will be markedly better at it the following week. Like, it's like if you're not in the best shape, do light calisthenics. The following week, you will feel better when you do light calisthenics. Yes, that is true. Actually, you will.
Yeah, there's is that from chapter 6, how to multiply your energy with psychic power control?
This is from
that one starts with energy can be multiplied. You can start trading by running 1 block and getting tired.
7. That was 7. Sorry.
And practice until you can run 10 blocks and feel no more tired than you did running the 1 block at first. You have multiplied your energy 10 times. It's just so much of there are a bunch of exercises near the start where he just tells you to do exercise and comes up with kind of funny sounding reasons for it, but it's basically just if you do exercise like deep knee bends, which he explains in a lot of detail, which I'm pretty sure are just squats.
They're just bodyweight squats.
Yeah.
You'll feel better if you do bodyweight squats. Yeah, exactly. A lot of these are like a lot of the things in here. It's like, man, I read Cyclomancy and I did all the exercises and I feel so much better all the time. I feel so much more positive and everything. And it's like, oh, I gotta go do my psychic exercises. And it's like, what's he doing? Oh, just regular exercise.
He just went for a run.
Turns out you'll feel a lot better if you do physical activity.
Yeah, in chapter 7 too, I really, really like one of the exercises is for stretching your rib box with deep breathing exercises in the sitting Zembla position. So you're just sitting in a chair with your hands on your knees and hyperventilating for 30 minutes daily.
It actually, so check this out.
You'll feel pretty weird if you do that. So you'll feel something.
It's not just so, and then it teaches you to do like deep inhalation and slow measured exhalation, which is literally just pranayama. Like he's doing like yogic breath control, like Babby's first breath control, that does in fact train you to have work. Yeah, it does in fact train your lung capacity. So
yeah,
but again, does not require you being psychic. Like the psychic command rockets are not a required element. It's almost like the psychic angle on this was like the magic toe shoes to get people to just do some things that were just generally good for them anyway and feel better. It's like, and at the end, you realize you didn't need the psychic power command rocket at all. It was within you the whole time.
No, the great thing about this book, though, is the first half or maybe 2/3 are what you just described, where it's mostly, I say mostly because there are some really, really funny exceptions to this, but mostly him suggesting, that you go exercise or do some breathing exercises, or even just like take a break during the day to feel less tired.
Yeah. Have you considered napping?
Yeah. And it's all dressed up in kind of, you're doing your sitting Zemblas and potentiating your psychic arc by imagining juicy steaks, but they're things that mostly work. And then the later parts of the book are where you start astrally projecting, and he just goes way off into more interesting and probably less practical waters.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's possible, someone who took this seriously might be able to, because they were convinced by the earlier exercises, someone who took this very seriously might be able to actually drive themselves insane with the latter chapters. Like if you just sort of titrated this out into yourself and you're like, all right, I did lesson 6 and it really worked, like I definitely feel better, now that I'm running a 5K 3 times a week. Like let's see let's see what's next. Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna focus on seeing my wife cheating on me with this guy I don't trust her with.
Alternating that with punching holes in clouds with your telekinetic powers.
Right. Yeah, I mean, God. Okay.
The brain horns I really like.
The brain horn, and he's very. It's very clear that the brain horns are literally just your optic nerve. Like
he says that.
Yeah, he says and then refuses to mention the optic nerve again.
Yeah.
He's just like, we're going to call them the brain horns from here on out.
Yeah.
You gotta fire with your brain horns. This psychic power command rock. I mean, sometimes, you could just open to a random page in this book and get the wildest sentence full of these, full of this jargon. Yeah.
So
let's see
what the brain horns do, and particularly what the retina or your two retinas do, is so most people, the psychically untrained, believe that the retina
is merely a recipient.
Yeah, is receptive.
Yeah.
Whereas in fact, it also transmits energy. And I guess, okay, so in a kind of trivial sense, because humans are endothermic animals, we're mammals, your retinas will be emitting some infrared radiation because you're warm. But
True.
But Frank Rudolph Young takes that to another level. Your retina converts brain waves into light waves and projects them outside the body. And because of his
and
love,
you can control the wavelength.
You can, yeah. That was exactly what I was going to say. Because of his love of quantifying things and things just scaling linearly, the more powerful you are, the shorter the wavelength, and yogis just presumably blast gamma radiation out of their eyes, which actually does sound like a bit of a liability.
Would be a problem. I mean, yeah. Especially it's sort of like the Midas curse, except you just give everyone you look at melanoma.
Yeah. And he talks later in the book about X-ray eyes, but when he says that, this is not metaphorical for you can see behind things. No, you're actually firing X-ray radiation, like ionizing radiation, out of your eyes. Although
he does also imply that means that you can see through things.
Yeah,
which is funny because that's not how X-rays work. It works because they have a photo medium behind whatever they're firing. So it wouldn't really.
So all you're actually doing is giving people cancer.
You're just giving people cancer.
You're trying really hard to see through a wall, and you feel like it's not working because you can't see through the wall. Whereas in fact, you're just irradiating the shit out of everyone.
That's right.
Whom you look at.
You just gotta shoot. You gotta really. I mean, go for the microwaves, right?
Yeah.
Just go for the microwave. Just make it quick. You know.
Yeah. So besides that, your brain horns can do a lot. He's mostly interested in infrared radiation. I'll read a quote actually. At your retina, these brain waves are converted into one of four forms of energy and heat before they are discharged outwards or projected from your body. These four forms of energy and heat are 1. Radiant heat, for nearby healing, tranquilizing and alluring people, romantic conquest, stirring personal appeal. 2. Infrared rays, for nearby or distant healing, tranquilizing and alluring people, romantic conquest, exciting the interest and obedience of and others. And others? That must be a typo. Of others.
Yeah.
3. Radio waves, for psychic power projection. These first three forms of energy and heat are projected as light rays. 4. Body magnetism, for influencing inorganic substances, as in psychokinesis and levitation. Your infrared eye beams are really, really powerful because you can use them in the same way as before we were saying. When you touch someone, you shoot some electrons between you and them, and you can use that to send them messages. You can do the same with your infrared eye beams, because the eye beams too, you've got your brain electricity, or your nerve electricity, sorry, being under the influence of psychic power command rockets to your brain horns, or as he calls them, your psychic artillery. And with your psychic artillery pieces, you're shooting infrared beams.
Yep.
And when these hit someone's skin, they turn back into nerve electricity, and you can influence a person now remotely.
You're using your body electron surplus.
Yeah. And so long as you have line of sight and enough ammo, that is to say, enough electrons,
enough conceptualization of a juicy steak.
Yeah.
Of a sufficiently juicy steak. Not any steak.
Yeah. It needs to be a pretty juicy one. Do yogis can they alter the power of their eye beams based on how juicy their imagined steak is?
I think the
control knob?
One big question, and this is kind of the elephant in the room for me here. Yogis typically are Hindu,
and they love steak.
They would not typically be steak appreciators. And so I wonder, are they like imagining the sloppiest curry? Like what's the yogi imagining? And should we be imagining that? Is it culturally bound, the food that you're supposed to imagine in order to accumulate surplus electrons?
Or is there something about the juicy steak which transcends culture?
Yeah.
And is necessary for psychic power?
Perhaps it really is the juicy steak, and perhaps the juiciest possible steak is a live cow that will never be killed for its meat.
That's actually the juiciest steak.
And so the yogis ascend. The yogis ascend because they merely conceptualize a living cow. And I
think you're onto something.
And that is the superlative juicy steak. Oh my God! Maybe we're having breakthroughs. What did I just fire at you with my psychic artillery? I'm going to send you 4 digits. I'm going to send you 4 digits right now. And we're gonna see if you write them down right now. Write them down right now. All right, write them down on something so you can hold it up to the camera. Do it.
I have neither a pen nor paper.
Oh my God, terrible. All right, well, get it into your mind, and I'm going to send you I'm gonna send it to you in the DMs. All right, it's 4 digits. Did I get your number?
You did get my number.
I did?
You did. You actually did. That was the first thing I thought of is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cyclomancy works.
Cyclomancy works. Were you imagining how juicy was the steak you were imagining, and was it a cow?
I can't believe it. I can't believe we got it. Cyclomancy's real. I was imagining a cow. I just want you to know. I was imagining a cow when I got your number correctly. So
it is truly remarkable. Truly remarkable. One thing about I-beams that I also really like. Oh, actually, hot rods. That's the other thing you meant to imagine. Juicy steak and hot rods.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
When he says hot rods, I think... Is he just saying you need to imagine your optic nerves or your brain horns getting really powerful and hot, and that's is that the hot rod?
Temperature is to him. Temperature is like the presence of electrons.
Yeah,
and so like if the electrons are present, it is inherently hot. The hotter it can get, the more electrons are in it. So there's both there's both literal temperature, right, and like this sort of psychic temperature that things exist at. Because one of the things that he mentions is, yogis being able to actually increase their body temperature in order to not, in order to like sit on a mountaintop and not freeze to death. So, which is an actual thing. That is a real phenomenon that some people can do. But
is that how Wim Hof does it?
I don't know. I don't know what his actual method is, but I mean, I think it is supposed to be some sort of like weird body control thing. Like part of it might be, like when you're cold and you shiver, right? That is an attempt to increase your body temperature. Like it's just an autonomic way to increase your body temperature. Theoretically speaking, if you were to, and I realize that, Frank here might not appreciate this, but theoretically, if you were to like really be very good and diligent at doing isometric exercises, you could increase your body temperature. Like if you just like flexed your entire body for as long as you possibly could and kept doing it, you would get hot. Like you would be exerting yourself. And so theoretically you could appear to sit mostly still and do that. Now, I don't know if that's actually how it is. I can't fucking do it. I love wearing wool coats. So like, but that is a theory that has been proposed, which makes some amount of sense. So
you can with your I-beams and your hot rods, you can actually increase. Again, it's just the fundamentally quantitative nature of this book. If a normal person can shoot infrared radiation, so photons, out of their eyes at a certain speed, then a yogi, a psychic master, can do it at 109 times their speed. And you actually do have psychic exercises here to increase the speed of the photons shooting out of your eyes. And you can actually, when you're, if you get to
some kind of weakling who's confined to the speed of light.
Exactly. If you read this book and you're no longer a weakling, you can actually make your I-beams travel at 109 times the speed of light, which is really fast.
That's really fast. It's pretty fast. I can't think of anything
It's really
faster.
fast.
Yeah. Well, why not 110?
Well, it's funny you say that, because at the end of the book, when you bring in your astral body, I think he throws around the number 3,000. Yeah, they're 3,000 times as potent as a normal person. So I can only assume
was that 3,000 times as potent when they are in their psychic body? Because maybe the psychic, one would imagine the psychic, the astral form of a normie would be pretty feeble, right? You'd imagine that a normie has a feeble psychic astral form, given that it's untrained, right?
That's true. That's true.
So maybe that's why it's 3,000.
So you think that the 109 figure still holds? It's not that later in the book he needs to keep your attention and starts throwing around even bigger numbers.
I'm going to be maximally charitable and say that it's because it's the astral.
Okay.
It's the astral form.
So yeah, your base stats are just even lower when it comes to astral form.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, so there's so many things you need to like. You need to do all of the other parts of cyclomancy, all of the little baby animal magnetism stuff, like shooting electrons and stuff, before you can leave your corporeal form and travel purely in a form that is electrons, which is the astral body. You're just electrons. Yeah. So you're only electrons. So imagine and think about it. If you're in your astral body, you don't have nerve synapses to deal with. There's no synaptic gaps. Yeah. You're just electrons. So of course you're going to be more powerful, right?
Yeah, just imagine the nerve transmission speed when you don't even have nerves. Yeah, you don't have synapses, you don't have nerves. You're just electrons.
Impulse. Yeah, you're just a
ball of electrons.
Yep, that's right. It's near instantaneous transmission speeds.
And what do you do with this remarkable power? Flicking through my notes, most of this remarkable power is used to make sure that your wife's not cheating on you.
Make sure your wife is not cheating on you, or to make sure that you can get with whatever with your chosen significant other.
It really is. You go through the exercise and it's like, okay, the primitive hearing center, what can you do with it? Well, you can listen to your wife or husband to make sure they're not cheating. Well, so the primitive seeing center, what can you do with it? Well, you can see really well to make sure your wife or husband is not cheating on you. You learn to shoot radio waves out of your eyes rather than infrared radiation. And you can use this to put thought to put good thoughts about you in your wife's head when she's away somewhere at suspicious times and you think she's cheating on you, to make her remember you well.
Yeah, and bad thoughts about whoever the fuck else she's with, that whore.
Yeah. You can get into the psychic remote viewing cuck chair when your wife is away sleeping with another man. You can put thoughts of yourself in her head at the same time.
So here's something from the thing from what you need in order to travel in your astral body. Animals, it is commonly known, recognize the presence of supernatural bodies nearby long before the humans present do. They recognize them even if the humans present don't. It is obviously because their psychic power center, or their whole primitive autoconscious, is far wider awake than man's. For astral body traveling, you have to awaken your own considerably, completely, in every part. Oh, wait, sorry. Actually, I think I might be missing a page. Oh, never mind. Deliver now a psychic power command rocket to your astral body, ordering it to prepare to separate itself from your physical body and dart through space and make an apparition before or near your chosen subject. Repeat this exercise several times until you actually feel your astral body coming alive in your own body, like wave after wave of power, ready to burst out of it at the right signal. So you have to haunt somebody as an exercise. That's what it was. But the other thing about the animals, right? So animals, as he implied at the beginning, this is another elephant in the room, right? Why are all animals not psychic?
Wait, your dog's not psychic?
Yeah, so their whole primitive autoconscious is incredibly wide awake.
Yeah.
Right? So why aren't they psychic? Why can't they do this?
Maybe... Okay, he doesn't say this. Maybe you need the human intellect plus the primitive autoconscious to be psychic. But now that I'm saying that out loud, he
specifically says it's the opposite.
Yeah, he specifically says the opposite. That's a great point. I'm going to choose to ignore it because I feel like Frank was really onto something here.
Okay, so maybe animals are only able to do some of these things, like... so magnetism, right? Like the sort of like you'd have to be extremely, you'd have to have a whole lot of extra electrons in order to not like want to pet a kitten, right? So like maybe they're just sending psychic power command rockets saying, I'm cute at you the whole time, right? And we're just like getting bombarded with this fusillade of kitten psychic commands that they are adorable and need to be petted, right? Maybe that's what's going on there. It's just that they're just like, because they don't have the human intellect to command them, they're kind of like one trick, right? They got one thing they can do. They got this one thing they can do, right? He goes into at one
tragedy.
He goes into
all this power latent in them, and they don't know how to use it.
When he's talking about the brain horns, he actually goes into how snakes, like vipers, can make their prey animals, like mice or whatever, freeze in place so that they can and walk into the snake's mouth.
Yeah,
that's the one thing a snake can do.
Okay.
So animals just have they've only got one ability.
Is it like in certain RPGs where you have a stat that determines, the number of spell slot, like the spells you can memorize, and then just there'll be another stat that determines how powerful those spells can be? Maybe it's like that. Animals have all this psychic ability and they'll just have a spell slot.
But they'll only have the one. Exactly.
Yeah, they fucked their build up really badly.
They're animals. They can't be taking player character classes.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe
Whereas we have cyclomancy.
Maybe cows are just batteries. Like they're just like
batteries.
Maybe that's the whole thing. Arc. That's the whole thing. You can they're just really good at both accumulating and distributing electrons. So that's why you can conceptualize a steak, or in the case of a yogi, a whole living cow.
Yeah.
In order
and
to
there's
power your
something
own
about
shit.
the juiciness that is that's important in making the battery discharge.
That's why they're delicious, even because they're the inherent in the animal is this command rocket that I am delicious. That's the whole thing.
And you take a bite out of a juicy steak and you're just getting blasted with electrons.
It's just full. Yeah, it's just absolutely. Yeah, it's just like a little bomb of flavor electrons sending you signals that this is tasty and you're being empowered.
In fact, they're such potent psychic batteries that just conceptualizing of a cow will replenish you.
Is sufficient. Yeah, well, it's sufficient for the electrons. You should still have a steak now and again.
Yeah. I'm just, in my notes, I've screenshotted, photographed from my legal copy of Cyclomancy. There's this really good exercise for training your primitive seeing primitive seeing center and your highest visual center. And they're actually just this series of exercises for going cross-eyed. They're just
they're
series
eyes.
Of dots on
they're
the page.
Just googly eyes
that you're meant to stare at and make the two dots align, and the dots are all in slightly different places. And it actually is, you just stare at the page and go cross-eyed for a period of time, and then let your eyes relax, and you just keep doing this, and your eyesight will improve.
I'm pretty sure I haven't done it, so I can't honestly say, but I'm pretty sure it would have the opposite effect. I'm just gonna throw it out there that crossing your eyes and holding them there for several minutes at a time is probably not going to be great for you.
This one weird trick that lenses hate.
He does talk about changing the shape of your eye intentionally. He does talk about that, which is, I don't know, maybe that is a thing you can do. The eye does change shape for various reasons. Maybe it would be something that a person could deliberately control.
It depends which part is changing shape. The lens changing shape is good. Otherwise, changing shape is pathological.
It's like, oh, it turns out you've given yourself cornea damage.
Congratulations, you're short-sighted.
Yeah. Whoops.
He psychically induced your need for glasses.
Oh my God.
I do like the section. He brings it in quite late in the book, but it's an important theoretical section where he says basically why cyclomancy works, and he says it's because of the one, capital O, one, and the one is also molecular action. And this is just, it's very powerful woo-woo because it's blending together some element of physics. In this case, he didn't go for quantum field theory, which it existed at the time. Interestingly, he just went for molecules. He says everything is molecular action or the one. And that's why cyclomancy works, because cyclomancy is molecules and everything is molecule. So
it's a fully material magic, right?
Yeah.
If we're going to just agree on our terms here, I guess a little bit.
Yeah. Because it's all molecules. Even the electrons
are also molecules.
Electrons are molecules now. Everything's a molecule.
Someone's gonna figure out in 200 years that in fact electrons are molecules.
Yeah,
in some way, and it's gonna be that's unified field theory. That's what makes it work.
And the treasured book club from hell podcast, which has survived 200 years into the future. People will be listening to this episode and laughing at us.
Yeah, only my pseudonym will survive of me, and they'll be like, what was the Library of Mass Destruction? It's only noted by reference in the Book Club from Hell episode, which prefigured unified field theory.
Yeah, there was the Library of Alexandria and the Library of Mass Destruction.
Yes,
two tragedies that people 200 years in the future will be looking. We'll talk
about yes, the loss of Library of Mass Destruction was much like the loss of the Library of Alexandria.
As I flick through my notes, just the number of quotes I've copied down where he is applying these incredible powers just to make sure his wife is not cheating on him or to stop her cheating is truly remarkable.
He really could not.
This guy did not trust his wife.
Could not think of a whole lot of other things to do with these powers.
No, I feel like he was having some marital problems at the time of writing Cyclomancy.
God.
Yeah. Oh, there's the astral tube. Do you remember the astral tube?
What was the tube for two-way communication? Which one was the tube?
The tube, well, you can use it for two-way communication, but you can use it for a lot of things. The astral tube, it's an astral horn technique. You think your astral horns, your psychic artillery.
Yeah.
They presumably they're firing in like a cone shape.
Oh,
they're kind
right,
of like a shotgun.
Right. It's the laser version. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas the astral tube, you imagine two narrow tubes with thick astral walls, about 6 feet long, one for each eye. And they should be no wider than the diameter of the pupil of each eye. So these are they're pretty narrow, long tubes. And they just focus the energy you're shooting out of your eyes. And because you're doing that, they're just more powerful.
Yeah,
basically.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just concentrate them. Yeah, it's just the laser version.
Yeah, so basically anything you were doing with your brain horns, you're doing better now with the astral tubes. Well, he's walking you through it, because just imagine what it would do to someone's primitive autoconscious if they're a complete novice, they're a complete baby,
and then you give them a laser rather than a tube.
Yeah, exactly. You hit them with it's like giving a baby a nuclear bomb. You've got to work them up to it. They could hurt themselves.
Okay, fair enough.
So I feel like he's being a responsible astral tube owner here.
A responsible astral tube. Yes, okay.
Keeping it locked up in a psychic gun safe.
You've got to get the psychic key to your psychic gun safe.
Exactly.
And your separate psychic ammunition storage unit. And you've got to load your psychic ammunition magazine.
Exactly. What happens if your drunk 16-year-old son and his friends come home and your psychic tubes are unlocked, or your astral tubes are unlocked, and they crack them open and start playing around. One of them hurts themselves.
Right. They just start making the other person visualize themselves as a dog.
Yeah, they just start shooting gamma rays at each other.
Exactly. They start levitating. They get all their, both of them get too positively electrically charged, and they bounce off of each other. Yeah, they
fall out of the sky.
They they just both get too positively charged in front of each other, and then of course, because they're both positively charged, they'll repel each other like the wrong sides of a magnet.
Yeah,
and so they'll just
through the walls of the house.
They'll end up pressed against the walls of the house, or pushing through them.
And in pushing against the walls of the house, that's basically isometric exercise. And so
which is terrible for you.
Which is terrible.
They'll be forced to stand even. My God.
They're held up against the wall in a standing position and not in the sitting Zembla. And they can just feel their life force draining.
Yep.
It's a disaster waiting to happen.
I think you'll see them both completely drained of electrons, just cold on the ground.
Their body temperature will be so low.
Yeah. Totally irradiated.
So I feel like Frank was being pretty responsible, letting you get used to the brain horns and the psychic artillery before giving you the astral tubes.
Okay, fair enough. You do have to. He did have to walk you in there. He had to.
I just found the note. It's how you were talking about how snakes can paralyze or kill their prey psychically.
Yeah,
I read here. So snakes actually use an astral tube to do that.
Oh yeah, they must. They must.
They're using an astral tube.
But again, they can only do it with the one thing. Thank God. Yeah. Thank God nothing evolved the irradiate whatever I'm looking at You know?
Yeah.
It'd suck if
X-ray snakes.
The X-ray snakes would fucking suck.
Yeah, that'd... Tiger snakes and brown snakes are bad enough. Just imagine if they had ionizing radiation.
I have no idea what either of those things you just said are. I don't know what a tiger snake or a brown snake is. I'm from America. We have rattlesnakes.
They're some of the most venomous snakes in the world.
Nice.
The problem is brown snakes are also kind of aggressive.
Oh, like they're dicks about it.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, rattlesnakes are all about intimidation. I mean, that's why they've got the rattle, right?
Mm.
So they're all about intimidation. They try to warn you.
Oh, okay.
Usually. Sometimes they don't rattle and you just step on them and they bite you.
No, tiger snakes are all about laying eggs in your pool filter. Open it up and it's just full of deadly baby snakes.
Full of snakes.
That happened at my grandparents' place. They rural Victoria, which is known for snakes. They decided to build a house and in the middle of it have a swimming pool in the middle of a dry snake-filled landscape, and so just snakes fucking loved the house.
Wait, do you mean so they built like a house that had a courtyard, so it was completely surrounded on all sides by house, and then in the middle of that courtyard was a pool?
Yeah, it was the snake attractor.
That sounds fucking awesome, to be honest, but it sucks about the snakes. How did they even get in there?
Snakes all the time.
Yeah. How did the snakes even get in there?
Well, they found a way. I don't know. I didn't ask them.
You didn't interrogate them with your psychic...
my psychic vision? Well, no. I didn't know about cyclomancy. I was just running away from their astral tubes.
Oh, right. Yeah, they were going to paralyze you. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That does sound like a sick setup, though. I'm happy for child you to have had those experiences, except for the snake part.
I mean, they were kind of committed once they'd built the pool, and they realized that actually, the snakes do love it.
It's so weird that that the snakes liked it. You'd figure they'd be into like the whole being in an arid.
No, they're attracted to water.
Oh, they love the water. Oh, there you go.
What man? It's just like you can do so many things. You can the astral microscope,
if your
the astral telescope, X-rays.
Your grandparents should have used their brain horns to project the idea that there was like some sort of bird that eats snakes chilling in that pool filter. So the snakes would stay the fuck away. That would have been a solution. That, Frank Rudolph Young should have talked to us before he wrote this. Yeah. He should be, because that could have been a solution. And like it's an example of the uses of cyclomancy that doesn't involve preventing yourself from being cuckolded. Yeah, so it's a little bit of like diversity of application here. Right?
Yeah, exactly. No, there was no psychic power involved. My granddad was a practical man and just shot snakes in the house.
He just shot a lot of snakes.
Yeah, he shot a lot of snakes.
Shot a lot of snakes. Good for him. Good for him. Not with his psychic artillery.
Not with his psychic artillery, with buckshot.
That is overkill. I
blew them to pieces. They really made sure they were dead.
I had to use birdshot myself, but you know what? Go for it, bud.
What if they survive the birdshot?
I shoot them again. You got more bullets.
Got more shells.
One. Yes, that's true. Oh my God.
I would like to read a quote about making X-rays.
I would love for you to read that quote.
To create X-rays outside your body, follow these simple steps. 1. Create a sawed-off astral half-cone from your forehead, like a giant eye shade. Let it extend downwards at an angle of about 30 degrees and be about 8 inches long, or long enough to reach to a level halfway down your nose. Now, project from your brain horns a powerful stream of electrons. Do so with a psychic power command rocket rushing from your psychic power center out of you through your brain horns. Multiply their speed by reinforcing them with a monstrous photon power thrust delivered simultaneously. When this raging stream of electrons strikes the slanting surface of the overhanging sawed-off astral half-cone, it is stopped suddenly and its electron energy is given up and changed into another form of energy. Less than 1% of this new energy is used to produce X-rays. By far the greater quantity is converted into heat. With actual electricity, the impact of such heat is sufficient to melt any known metal. This is why the X-ray machine uses a rotary stopping target to reduce the concentrations of that heat on the target. But you, certainly, need never worry about creating even a flicker of such heat. So... any known metal will be melted.
That's right. That's right. Do we know if on 9/11 anyone practicing cyclomancy was in
It was an inside
New
job.
York
They just
City?
they just put a powerful cyclomancer in each tower.
They did. And he just he set up a field to both attract airplanes and
He's magnetically attracting them.
Magnetically attract planes and set up enough heat to melt any known metal, like steel beams.
Steel beams.
Like steel beams. That's how they did it. Frank, what have you done? What have you done? You haven't been responsible at all. You've given this power to people who would use it for evil.
Is this the equivalent of people uploading schematics for 3D printed guns onto the internet? Like Frank Rudolph Young uploading cyclomancy to the popular consciousness.
That's right. Yeah, he gave away psychic secrets that were supposed to be guarded by just yogis who were sitting on the tops of mountains, and he put it into this easy to read slim volume.
Yeah, and while most people are very responsible with their cyclomancy and just use it to make their wife not cheat on them, or to establish whether she is or not cheating on, whether she's cheating on them or not, some people might use them to commit mass casualty attacks.
That's right, mass casualty events. If you pick up this book, if you listen to this episode and then pick up a copy of Cyclomancy, I urge you to not use it for world-altering terrorism. I urge you to use it just to make sure that you don't get cuckolded.
Yeah.
Don't get cucked, fellas.
Don't get cucked and produce X-rays.
And also don't give random people. Also don't give random
everyone
people cancer.
Everyone you see, give them a good blast. Next time you're at the supermarket, just be letting off X-rays the entire time.
Yeah, ruin all of the bagged popcorn in that aisle. Just pop it. Just pop it. Whatever. It's impossible to shop for popcorn if you have this ability. By the way, you have to just pick. You have to look away and pick at random off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's next time you're in a supermarket and you see someone in the stooping Zembla position, you better run because they're preparing their electrons for an X-ray attack.
That's right. That's right.
They're recharging.
I mean, they might just be. They might have just gotten a weird alert from their wife's from the air,
remote viewing
from the air tag they put on their wife's car. They get a weird alert and they're like, I gotta check them. I gotta check on them. Oh no, I'm low on electrons. Stupid Zembla. I can't do the horizontal ozona in the middle of the produce
That's
aisle.
how you know they're really desperate if they're doing the horizontal ozone or whatever it's called.
Yeah. They're doing
maybe that's when they start trying to haunt her, start to astrally appear in the room with them.
Stop cucking me. Stop it.
Try to scare them off.
Get that cock out of your mouth, you whore. That's.
I mean, the danger though is if she's learned cyclomancy as well.
And is
sending, using her astral tubes to send you messages, just showing her doing something wholesome at home rather than cheating on you.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh,
Frank Rudolph Young, in unleashing this on the world, he's given people all these incredible powers that they will just be using to make sure their wife's not cheating on them. But they've also given the cheating wives of the world the ability to get around that surveillance.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, if she just sends out a bunch of psychic power command rockets, with messages stating that she's making, raspberry crumble in the kitchen while she's, sucking off Tyrone, then, number one, women are very good at multitasking. So I imagine that she'd be able to do that. But number two, how is this just some sort of like, really like an arms race in the battle of the sexes?
Yeah.
Where sensitive young men, where sensitive young men need to be able to conceptualize a juicier steak than the women, in order to make sure that they aren't getting psychically psyoped, which is a little redundant, but we'll go with it, to make sure they aren't getting psychically psyoped with false astral projection flags. Right?
The world's a more dangerous place than we ever imagined.
What happens if Tyrone learns cyclomancy and like uses it just to taunt you that he's fucking your lady? So it's just like you're trying to move on, and you're trying to move on, like say it's come out, and every single time he's just like, yeah, bitch. Yeah. Just like right over your shoulder.
He's sending you his electrons.
He's sending you his electrons. Like, I got so many electrons. You can't even think about steaks like I can.
You better get good at imagining juicy steaks.
You better get good at imagining juicy steaks.
All I can say to stop all this happening in the first place.
Whatever you're doing right now, don't stop listening. Don't stop listening to Book Club from Hell. But I urge you, while you're listening, conceptualize the juiciest possible steak you can.
Yeah, you got to start practicing.
Yep. Like a 10-day dry aged Delmonico, just a really, really top shelf USDA choice or USDA prime, like something like, or go for a Wagyu cut, like something with a lot of marbling on it. Just imagine the juice. It's got a nice sear on the outside, really locking those juices in. It's just like I said before, it's almost pressurized. Just think about that and just
ready to pop.
And then it's just ready to pop. It's like a fucking blood balloon. And and just get started now. Get started conceptualizing now, because you never know when you're going to have to prevent yourself from getting cucked.
And I don't want to scare you, but that juicy steak being conceptualized right now is all that stands between you and ruin.
That's right. Something to think about.
It's something, well, there's one thing you can think about. It's just juicy steaks all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, you've got to maximize for thinking about juicy steaks. You actually can't think about anything else.
It also means you can take a vegan's girl, by the way.
That's
maybe turn the tables
true.
Here. Take a vegan's girl. That guy is not spending any amount of time thinking about a juicy steak.
What if he's thinking about cows, though?
He probably isn't. He's probably thinking about how to like not die of malnutrition eating nothing but chickpeas and bananas. Neither of which is a particularly juicy thing. I want to point out.
Those aren't very juicy. Yeah,
they're not juicy. No one's ever had a nice juicy banana.
They're really leaving themselves psychically exposed.
That's probably why people find veganism a little bit like repulsive, right? Because they never think about steaks. They have no animal magnetism. There's just
no electrons.
There's just no electrons there. There's absolutely no electrons.
Because as we've established, cows are nature's battery.
Cows are nature's battery. They help you get more electrons. They have a ton of electrons themselves. If you're not going to be eating them and conceptualizing them, you need to be literally worshiping them in order to have sufficient electrons. See? That's how it is. That's how it is.
Once you take cyclomancy seriously, it makes a whole lot of sense.
It does kind of start to come together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So, yeah. Anyway, start conceptualizing.
Start conceptualizing. PSA. What about the Earth records? Because the past and future of everything is imprinted in the ether in the form of the Earth records.
Oh, so he does go into how the Akashic records are wrong. Yeah. And who was the Akashic Records? That was
I know next to nothing about it.
It was a theosophical, but I'm not sure who Rudolph Steiner and Edgar Casey were the guys who talked the most about them. But it was a theosophical concept. So, and Edgar Casey was the sleeping prophet. Have you done anything on Edgar Casey?
No, we haven't done anything on theosophy, and I do want to.
Edgar Casey was not a theosophist. Edgar Casey was like a New Age guy. So
okay.
he would go to sleep, and then his, like, if I recall correctly, his wife would like be the medium, and he would like tell her she would like auto write whenever, and like, but it only worked when he was asleep, right? Like she would like channel him and auto write. But he would tell things. He would predict the future essentially, and also tell the past from the Akashic Records, which is essentially just like everything that has ever occurred or will ever occur is already written down or is already recorded in the Akashic Records. And Akasha is the Sanskrit word for ether, like the ether space. Like you'd think of, the no longer current physics concept of ether, like the medium that existence sort of is in. So, yeah. But Cyclomancy is anti-Akashic Records.
Yeah.
Just like it's anti-isometric exercises.
And standing.
You fucking hate standing. Yeah. So the Earth... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just the reasoning behind why the Akashic Records are wrong hinges upon the inability of things to move faster than the speed of light, which I just find odd, because earlier in this book, he's established that yogis can definitely send things faster than the speed of light. 109 times faster.
109 times. And in the astral realm, 3,000.
3,000 times faster. Yeah, so I feel like his dismissal of the Akashic Records was unfair.
Yeah, I mean, so he said that. So his model is the Earth Records, and help me out with how exactly he said that worked.
I think the Earth Records it's basically like, I think it's light and sound waves which accumulate on Earth, and they just pile up instead of shooting off into space. I'm not sure either because of the magnetosphere or gravity. Oh no, it was gravity, I think. I think they actually...
Gravity causes all of these things to accumulate.
Yeah. So they're just sucked down gravitationally.
Just sucked them right off.
And I'm not sure, because he seems to say that you can predict the future of things too. And I'm not sure how they accumulate then.
How the future accumulates through in the center of the Earth. I just lost you for like 45 seconds.
Oh, okay. I explained the Earth Records.
Okay. And then the future, I lost you at the future.
Okay. The future has accumulated. If we're going to break the English system of tenses, the future has accumulated already. And you can hold objects, and he teaches you how to do this. You can hold objects and work out that object's past and its future.
Okay.
And I was saying that's why the CIA loves it, because not only can you work out things that have happened, but you can work out what just, hostile foreign powers, hostile domestic powers are going to do. But you just see their future. Yeah.
I mean, so you could have, an earnest cyclomancer in 2015 could have put their hand on the escalator and said, the president
and placed a gigantic bet on Donald Trump becoming president
in the prediction markets. That's right. It's like the president will come down this escalator. My God.
You would be an absolute demon at Crown Casino.
It'd be so good. You just fucking touch some dice, right?
Professional gambler.
Yeah, you just know exactly what they're going to come up as. That'd be perfect. I mean,
just imagine going to the greyhound races, going and touching every greyhound and getting yelled at by their handlers. Just the amount of money you'd make. That's the first. That's what you use cyclomancy for. You use it to make sure your wife's not cheating on you and to absolutely clean up at the doggies.
Is dog racing? I don't even know where I could go to view a dog race. I know where I could go see some horse races, but
if you're a true Aussie patriot, you'll go to greyhounds.
Really, that's a big thing. Interesting.
I don't think it's a big thing. One of my uncles loves the greyhounds. I don't know how much normal people like it.
True blue Australian legend.
Yeah.
Was a crush a couple tinnies? Is that drinking a beer?
You could crush a couple tinnies. I don't know if they.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Crush a couple tinnies. Watch the dogs. That'd be great. Yeah, that sounds like a fun time.
Or if you're very advanced, you watch the virtual greyhounds at the pub.
That doesn't sound as fun. That doesn't sound even close to as fun. I want to yell at dogs while drunk.
Yeah, but just imagine if the volume of
without being a public disturbance
of actual greyhound races is not sufficient to meet your need for greyhound races. Well, then you virtualize it, and you have an unlimited number of greyhound races that you can bet on.
Yeah, but then I don't know anything about the dogs, and I'm just going to be making decisions based on their names or something.
Yeah,
you know,
and
what I
their
mean?
Stats.
Well, yeah, but
and their generated statistics.
Can I use my astral tube to shoot extra electrons into the dog that I want to win? Like, I just find the dog who's the underdog, right? Like, find the one who's least likely to win, place a big bet, absolutely jack the shit out of that dog with a bunch of electrons.
Just flood the circuits.
Yeah.
That are on which whatever program the virtual greyhounds are on with electrons.
That dog up.
Which computers love.
Yes.
Computer circuits love being flooded with extra electrons.
Yeah, the more that are in there, the better.
The better it works.
Yeah,
that's how Moore's law works.
That's why it's called Moore.
They're putting more electrons into the circuit, into the microchips. They're packing more electrons into the microchips.
Yeah, how many are in there?
That's the difference between a shitty shitty CPU and a gaming CPU. So you can run a modern Unreal 5 game at 3 frames per second. It's all about just how many electrons are in the chip.
Yeah, there's 5 in a Pentium 1, right? That's why you can only run OG Diablo on Windows 95. But man, yeah, modern chips, you just got 3,000 times the number of electrons.
Yeah, you've got so many more electrons.
Yeah, they're using yogis they're basically yogis themselves. That's why AI is so dangerous, because the minute AI, if we learn to simulate the primitive autoconscious, we're fucked.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm so worried about quantum computing, because as we speak, Alphabet is and that they've actually managed to do it. It's what a qubit is. It's an astral body electron that they've put on a chip, and they're doing calculations with them. So they're actually using the astral realm to perform quantum calculations.
If Google gets their hands not only on my browsing history, but on the Akashic records, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Just imagine the power of their predictive algorithms if they literally have access to the future.
You know what? All they're going to need to do is simulate a snake, and then we're all going to get hypnotized and walk right into the jaws. They only need one spell slot.
Yeah. That's how the world ends.
Yeah. Although it is a little weird, because I bet Google already pretty much knows if your wife's cheating on you.
Yeah, probably.
They probably already got that one going. So
this is what technological society looks like. they're taking the psychic realm for themselves.
Technological
but through
society
non-psychic means.
Yeah, has obviated psychic development, and that's the real tragedy.
They're taking electrons and putting them to different uses to completely undermine the psychic realm.
God, they'd have infinite power if they just simulated a quantum cow.
And just imagine all of those.
I hope they don't
virtual
parse
electrons.
this. Yeah, I hope they don't parse this this podcast, because otherwise they'll know.
Although presumably, if they have access to the Akashic records, they already know the future.
Well, maybe they can only read a little bit at a time. Or maybe they haven't gotten to the portion of it that's in English.
Yeah, or maybe they might just need to do some stooping Zemblers every now and then to replenish before reading further.
That's why the
bottleneck.
That's why they're building human-shaped robots, so that the robots could do stooping Zemblas and horizontal Ozonas. Because otherwise, if you've ever been to a server farm, they're all very vertical. They're basically standing up.
Yeah,
right.
Just put them on the side.
Yeah, they just got to put them on the side.
Increase speeds by 109 times.
109 times. You just got to lay them down.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's how you make your gaming PC work. Like, don't bother upgrading anything. Whatever you do, don't bother downloading any updates to anything.
Just lay it on its side.
Yeah, just put it on its side.
Yeah, and also make sure. Man, you know what I'm going to do?
Don't change your fan orientations either for when you put it on its side. That's not important.
That's not important. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those. Cooling units for the processor that has that can play a GIF on it, right? And I'm going to download a GIF of a juicy steak.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to have to plug my computer in anymore.
There'll be so many electrons coming out of that.
Yeah, there'll be so many. Yeah. The power company's going to pay me. That's right.
Yeah, so you'd need to plug it in to turn everything on.
Some of it. Yeah.
To get that GIF going. But once that's going, you've got a perpetual motion machine.
Essentially.
You can unplug it, yeah. It'll run itself.
Cyclomancy, cyclomantic engineering.
That is
where
so much that can be done with this book.
We've learned so much.
I started laughing because I flicked in my notes past the how to create the dominating psychic atmosphere with the outcurving astral cone section.
Yes.
His terminology in maybe the last third of the book just goes into another dimension. It goes into the astral dimension.
This book honestly should have been this book should have been written in German, because that would just be one word.
Yeah, right? This is crying out for a German translation. Here we go. You can make an astral helmet to prevent people influencing
from influencing you. Yeah, that's right.
So I was thinking back to you talking about
not going to be able to.
Yeah, so he's not going to be able to do it anymore. Now everyone's going to have one of these. What if your wife, when she's cheating on you, is wearing an astral helmet?
Well, but the thing is that it's all based on the issue is that the protection from the astral helmet versus the ability to do any sort of snooping or exert any influence is still, it's just based on the how much you can conceptualize a juicy steak.
Yeah. Okay, we just run into the same problem. No matter the arsenal available to you, you're just going to have to really potentiate your psychic arc with juicy steaks.
That's right. Yeah, you're limiting. The bottleneck is steak.
Except in Frank Rudolph Youngland, it actually is.
Yes, that's right.
I don't think you're exaggerating there. The key really does seem to be imagining juicy steaks and firing psychic power command rockets.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, as long as you've done the exercises, right? Assume a similar ability in terms of just actually attempting to do the thing, right? Like, that you can build the psychic helmet in order to protect yourself from influence, right?
Yeah.
So you've done that, all right? But the thing is that assuming that that your counterparty here is also competent, is a competent cyclomancer, the whole game is just how juicy is the steak you can conceptualize.
Yeah.
He should have spent more time talking about how to increase the juiciness of the steaks that you conceptualize.
I feel like that's where an offshoot of the effective altruist movement, the effective juiciness movement, will be most effective.
So basically, it would be adopting and popularizing strategies for conceptualizing juicier and juicier steaks.
Yeah, exactly. And basically the point of any action, the goal of any action, is to maximize the juiciness of conceptualized steaks.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. I'd donate my entire net worth to that.
Yeah, so Sam Bankman-Fried in prison at the moment. Or is he in prison yet?
I'm pretty sure he's in prison.
Yeah. He's left effective altruism and is now getting into effective juiciness and is just maximizing the juiciness of his imagined steak.
Although you know what the problem is, so we have a little bit of an issue with the verbiage here, right? Because Jung never specified the juiciness. Like, what is the juice? What juice is in the steak? Does it matter if the steak is like covered in juice or if it is producing juice? Like, what do we mean by juicy? So could we inject a steak, say, with a brining solution so that it stays moist, although even though that wouldn't like really increase its flavor? Or does it need to be endogenous juices like heme and intramuscular fluid?
Yeah.
Right?
I think this is a very good point.
And in the worst case scenario, it's just any kind of juice. So you could like dunk a steak in a glass of orange juice, and that is technically a juicy steak. And if you have people like effective altruists doing this, we're going to end up with like purple drank steak that is technically optimized, but also, kind of
corrosive to the soul.
Corrosive to the soul. That's right.
Yeah, we really need to work out the juicy steak alignment problem, and
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, and technically speaking, there are other kinds of steak, right? You could have a pork steak, right? Steak's just a cut, right? You could have a tuna steak.
There's a remarkable depth to this book.
There's remarkable depth. We're remarking on it.
Yeah, I guess, yes, in a trivial sense, there are remarkable depths.
I think that for the level of importance that Frank Rudolph Jung has placed on conceptualized juicy steaks, which from now on I will say as CJS. So the number of CJSs in this book is off the fucking charts, right? At least 109 times.
Yeah.
And he didn't really get into the nitty gritty mechanics of the CJS. And so I think it maybe even needs this book could even use a full supplement that's just CJS focused, like how to conceptualize it. What kind of juice? What kind of steak? What do we mean? Have you tested it, right? Have you tested, what if I think of a tuna steak that's covered in grape juice, right? Is that more or less effective than a tuna steak that's covered in pomegranate juice? Personally, I think pom, wonderful. So I'm going to guess that the pomegranate tuna steak is more effective. But maybe just a very well-hydrated beef steak is the most effective one. But I don't know, because I don't know that research has been done.
It hasn't been done,
we have a big gap here.
There's even more to it, because in the act of imagining the juicy steak, which aspects of the conceptualization are most effective in producing electrons? Is it perhaps the anticipation of the taste of the juice of the steak? Of droplets of juice rolling down your chin? Is it the imagine of the steak bulging with the juiciness? Is it is it imagining if you cut the steak, the juice emerging from it? There are many aspects of this that I feel like haven't been addressed.
What temperature is the steak versus what temperature is the juice?
So we even need to do research on how do people most effectively conceptualize a juicy steak.
The actual phenomenology of the conceptualization of the CJS.
Husserl shouldn't have been wasting his time with chairs. He should have been thinking about a juicy steak. And then, okay, so the aspects of imagining a juicy steak versus electrons produced. So we need to work out a way to maximize electrons produced per unit of imagination of juicy steak.
Oh no, there's a whole other level to this. Think about it. Because we know that conceptualizing juicy steaks, or rather CJSs are the most effective way to gain electrons. We also know that you can donate your electrons to others. So what if someone is extremely good at conceptualizing juicy steaks, but is not so good at doing, at using, for example, their psychic artillery, or using psychic power command rockets, right? Would it not be the case that they should spend all their time conceptualizing juicy steaks, donating their electrons to another person who is maybe better at using the astral tube and using the psychic artillery, right, than they are at conceptualizing juicy steaks? Right.
Yeah,
so
we probably do need hyper-specialization.
There's a division of labor thing here and hyper-specialization. And so maybe rather than trying to figure out if your wife is cheating on you, you should just, if you're better at conceptualizing steaks, then you get a bunch of surplus electrons, you go to a private investigator who doesn't ever think about steak, but is really good at the psychic tube. And just say, all right, I'm going to give you all
psychic tubes.
Yeah, he's just forming psychic tubes. He's just forming them. And you come to him and you're like, all right, I'm going to load you up with electrons. Tell me if my wife is a bitch. And he's going to be like, all right, I got you. Load me up. You juice him up. And then he's like, yep, sorry, bud. Would that be, that's maximizing competitive advantage.
There are so many points along the chain that are screaming for hyper specialization.
There are. There's so many levels here. There's so many levels. It almost seems like a barely or not quite 200-page book with insufficient treatment. I think that there could be 200 pages. There could be
thousands of pages. Just on the conceptualization of juicy steaks.
Yeah. This is a dissertation. Like, someone's dissertation needs to be on just laying out the areas of inquiry on conceptualizing juicy steaks. That's what I think. That's what I'm taking away from this. More research is needed.
You need a cyclomancy expert and adept with so many, an army of underpaid, sleep deprived PhD students sitting underneath them,
thinking
just
about
generating
steaks.
Research.
Yeah, generating conceptualizations of juicy steaks.
Exactly, yeah. And most of them will just be generating electrons and blasting all of the electrons into the one person who can write these things really well, who's just annihilating papers.
Yeah, over and over again.
Because they're full of electrons.
Realistically, any research, any sort of research would benefit from, cyclomantic consultations.
Exactly.
And so there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said about the potential economic impacts of cyclomancy.
Of just having cows walking around.
Cows
nature's
everywhere.
electron batteries.
That's why they're like that in India. they're just walking around in the street, just like in traffic, and no one fucks with them because that's their sole energy source.
Yeah, they're just blasting electrons everywhere into the street.
That's how they got 1 billion people there, even though they don't have functioning sanitation. Because of the cows, because of the extra electrons from the cows. It all makes sense now. Frank Rudolph Young was an unsung genius.
I feel like when it comes to economic sanctions, we really should consider cow sanctions.
I absolutely think we should consider cow sanctions.
Yeah.
I think that if
you don't want your enemies getting their hands on those things.
No way. Well, unfortunately, you can't even let them get their hands on the conceptualization of those things.
You can't even let them think about cows.
We're literally in a war of belief.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the proverbial cat is out of the bag on cows, right? Everyone kind of knows that cows exist.
Yeah. Except Frank. Except treasonous Frank told everyone about it.
Well, yeah, he really should have kept that under his hat.
So what else can you do? You can levitate. There are a few ways to levitate, actually.
That's right.
Yeah. You can levitate with your astral body because you detach your astral body from your physical body with the what's it called? It's like a suction cup. It has a really goofy name, but it is called something like the astral suction cup. But anyway, you use the suction cup to pull your astral body away from your physical body, and then your astral body. Oh, the giant astral suction cup is what it's called.
There we go.
It's not just a suction cup; it's really big. And you can use your astral body to pull your physical body up.
It does imply there are smaller ones, though.
Yeah. I guess the existence of a giant astral suction cup implies the existence of a tiny astral suction cup.
What if the giant is actually modifying astral? And so there's just like, there's the regular astral and there's the giant astral.
The micro astral.
And presumably the micro astral, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it works because it's on a higher level than the regular astral. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We don't know.
It's obeying the logic of medieval painting where the more important figures are bigger.
Are above them. Yeah, bigger. Yeah, just bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a bigger astral suction cup. And therefore, it's more important. And more powerful. You can also levitate through reversed magnetization, though, which was pretty good. This is meant to be harder than the astral body the astral body way of levitating, though.
But it doesn't. It doesn't require the being in the astral plane.
Yeah. It's just physical.
You just
it's
need
really difficult.
You just need to charge yourself against the Earth so that it repels. Yeah. No, you need to charge yourself the same as the Earth so that you're repelled.
Yeah, he says your body has magnetic polarity, and you need it to be the same as the Earth's. Yeah, and you just float.
Yeah, the Earth. So the Earth is negative. You got to make sure that your bottom is negative and your top is positive, right? And then you have to make sure that you're stable, right? So you don't want to like tip over and slam headfirst into the Earth.
No. And you can also reverse your polarity to get a better sleep. Because you're just Yeah, you acquire a magnetic polarity like that of your bed. And you do that by
and then you're attached to your bed. No, and then you'd be repelled from your bed. Yeah, you're repelled from your bed.
Yeah. You need to love the bed and make sure the bed feels like it's loved. And this aligns your magnetic polarities. And you just get a great night of sleep.
Oh, maybe it's more like joining your local magnetosphere to that of the bed. So you're sort of like a single magnetic object.
Yeah, because he here seems to be saying that you get a good night of sleep because you kind of sucked a little bit into the bed. Yeah, and you're really comfy.
Yeah, you're attracted to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't make...
It wouldn't make sense if your polarity was exactly the same. Yeah.
But maybe this is a cyclomantic magnet.
It kind of seems like all of his cyclomantic magnets are literal magnets.
Yeah, but maybe this is a different one. This functions in just literally the opposite way to all the other ones.
This is just for sleep.
Yeah, the sleep magnet just works differently to the other magnets.
Well, unfortunately, we have no further explanation. I'd probably think about a steak about it.
Yeah.
That'll help me figure it out.
Yeah. So when you were saying earlier that, did you say that this book has alchemical aspects to it, or were you saying that it doesn't? I can't remember.
It does have alchemical aspects. The idea that you can through various means that are like physical means that are also attempting to impact the broader world, right? You have these practices that collect and alter the energies of your body. It's a lot like Taoist internal alchemy. And one of the things that he doesn't like go into is, so like when you're thinking about Taoist internal alchemy, the way that they conceptualize things, it's just like Western Hermeticism, except like less traditional Taoist magic or alchemy, magic, whatever, is a little less complicated than Western Hermeticism because it was a folk way that was semi-codified. Western Hermeticism incorporated those sort of Eastern alchemical practices, but was significantly more formalized. So essentially, you have the concept of as above, so below. The body is a microcosm of the actual phenomenal world. And so if you alter something within yourself, you can alter something in the broader world thereby. And you do that by manipulating various energies. Obviously, Jung says those energies are electrons, right? And the Chinese said it was qi. As we're all probably fairly familiar with qi, and polarization is, say the same thing as the yin and the yang system, which are literally positively and negatively charged counterparts. So that's also a bivalent system. He doesn't have in here any sort of other than the juicy steak. He does not have any sort of like substances that might be taken in by you or put on you or arranged around you in order to change polarities or the organization of energy. So like the reason why feng shui was developed was because they were like, all right, well, if we can change energy flows and concentrate them, then we will thereby become more powerful. And it makes sense to build your living environment in a way that collects energy rather than blasts it out in all directions. And so it's kind of like building that's why that design system came. And then also, there are like Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine is based on Taoist internal alchemy, where the various ingredients are said to have certain properties that affect the qi, and so will be used to do that. The example, of course, in Cyclomancy is the all-purpose panacea conceptualized juicy steak.
Yeah.
So...
and the stooping Zembla. I think you actually do get some electrons.
Physical practice. Yeah, physical practices. That is much more yogic, obviously. There are, Tai Chi is a physical practice that is meant to organize and align chi. Also a similar physical practice to the stooping Zembla and horizontal Ozona. Although he says they're doing them wrong because they're fucking standing up like a bunch of goobers. So, yeah.
I mean, they couldn't fly, could they?
Well, theoretically, if we go into Chinese folklore, there are certain practices where a person can fly, and then there are certain the easiest way to fly is you basically charge a sword. Like you can empower a sword and then stand on the sword, and the sword will fly. Like that's a big thing in Chinese folklore, which is a little, which sort of is at the point where, and now we're at the point where we're kind of in the overlap between like these older esoteric practices and like fantasy as a fiction genre, right? So, we can talk about like magic in the esoteric sense, and then magic in the like, wizards and elves and dwarves, and the D&D sense, and that's where that overlap is.
Yeah, but, and Cyclomancy has unified all of those things.
It's the unified field theory.
Yeah, the unified field theory of just it's all electrons. It's
got science. It's got internal alchemy. It's got external alchemy, and so Cyclomancy really is a hidden forgotten gem.
A hidden forgotten gem besides the intelligence services of all of the world's great powers,
who are obviously all using it and keeping it
all
secret.
Using it.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
So, tend to close out episodes by saying whether we'd recommend a book or not. I found a lot of this book kind of a slog. There were times when it was really funny, when he'd be like specifically quantifying some particular claim.
Yes.
But there's so many. The exercises can be funny in moderation. I just got so tired of reading 200 pages of the exercises. For everyone that is kind of funny, like, you just look at these dots and go cross-eyed. There are 10 plus that are fire psychic power command rockets to the psychic power command center and imagine a juicy steak.
Yeah.
And that just got so annoying.
I would have to say, this book is a manual, right?
Yeah.
This book was supposed to be a manual, and so it kind of does read like a manual. And we have wringed all of the juice out of it in terms of its humor value and couching it in other belief structures. I think we've done a pretty good job here. But yeah, I would say probably unless you are like just into collecting esoteric tracts on things, or you're like really into New Age, I would say this is probably a skip. Like this is not
probably skip it.
I
wouldn't pay $500 for a first edition.
Yeah, so that would be my take on this one. That said, if you wanted to do these exercises, most of them would probably be great for you because it's calisthenics, and thinking about stakes. Although after this conversation, if you are not thinking, boy, I could really go for a fucking steak right now, I do not know if you have a soul. Like are you thinking about steaks? Are you like, I realize it's early for you in the day.
I'm gonna have one for breakfast.
Yeah, it is steak and eggs. That's a thing.
Yeah,
but like, I'm thinking about steaks right now personally. It'd be a late.
Well, I've got to make sure my wife stays true to me, and
that's right.
As we've established, the only way to do that is to
steak.
Mind control her by using the power of imagining juicy steaks to blast her with your electrons.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not really even a choice.
It's not really even a choice. Steaks for days.
You have to do it.
If you're, I think it would help your conceptualization of a juicy steak if you are also anticipating having a juicy steak for dinner. That would be, you'd be like peaking in energy all day. Yeah.
Yeah. Would
it always
eating
be in the back
a steak at the time impact your ability to conceptualize it?
I think it's probably like, I think that's probably like you just bust.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you're not conceptualizing it, you're actualizing it. An actualized juicy steak does not help you.
You would be electronically depleted.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
You have to stooping Zembla for a while.
Just got to get that steak out.
I just don't know how much more I have to say about this book.
I think we did it. I think we slaughtered this cow.
Yep. So anything you want to shill before people leave?
Check me out at the Capitalisimo on Twitter, and also follow Tooky's Mag on YouTube.
Nice. And I'll put the links to those in the show notes. Thanks for listening, everyone. And imagine some juicy steaks for yourselves. It'll do you a world of good.